Good morning, coffee moaners. Welcome on podcast, or if you're here live with us on YouTube. Sorry, we're a bit late. We cannot work out why we look yellow. Oh, that lamp's on. Oh, it's the swearing one.
It's not.
We were just trying to work out why we are so yellow. We will apologise. We do not understand
got jaundice.
it. We don't know why we're this colour. Don't worry. We have not got anything death-defying. Death-causing.
Death-defying would be great. I quite like something that was
death-causing. We're just yellow, and we don't know why, so we're just going to go with it. So
good morning, everyone.
Mellow yellow.
Quite right.
You're feeling mellow yellow.
That's right. Nice like. Did you make a cup of tea?
No, because you wanted a coffee. I made you a cup of tea this morning. You never drank. That's cold. You'll have to put that. Mark, that was an hour ago. Good morning, everybody. Hope you had a nice weekend. I think we did, but I can't get a nice day. As Mark struggled because he had sort of half a day off, which he never allows himself. So he was like climbing the walls at one point.
Can I just say thank you so much, everyone who watched the Sunday show. You really enjoyed the No Name Sunday show, which is in the members area, which we gave it a new sort of titles and graphics feel, but also at the end we ended with something that me and Nadia have been toying with and discussing for quite a bit, which is essentially a mindfulness poem, music moment.
It was
interlude.
Accidental.
It was totally accidental.
But we're really glad you enjoyed it, and actually it's inspired us to do more things like that.
Yeah, so, slow, because apparently the new thing is slow. Do you remember in lockdown? I don't know if followers have been with us. Lee Durrant, so lovely to see you back with us, Lee.
Yeah, hi Lee.
Sending you love, big man hugs and non-man hugs. I hate it when people say man hugs. In lockdown we used to do a thing where we do garden watch or something, where we'd set up a live camera and just record the garden. And for those people who didn't have gardens, couldn't go out, it was a nice escape. But yes. My blind Chi Alfie, are you going to join the Men in Pants, Mark? We're going to be talking about Men in Pants in a little while, because I have a conflicting emotions about the Men in Pants.
So do I.
As a father to daughters and having travelled on the underground, knowing what a bloody volatile
but also
space is.
Liking flash mobs and things. So I don't think.
And loving a bit of fun.
Well, let's talk about it when we talk. What else are we going to be talking about today? I've forgotten.
We're also going to be talking the Golden Globes last night, guys. We're going to be doing a showbiz special.
Where we're going to do all the dresses and all the glamour and all the gossip.
And the winners.
Kylie, snogging, Chalamet. We're going to do all of that.
Chalamet?
I can never say it.
Chalamet.
And
obviously at some point we'll be talking about who won the bloody awards. And we're also going to be talking about Men in Pants on tubes. I really want to we're going to do most mornings we home in on obviously the Israel Gaza crisis, and we will be doing that again later in this live today. So for those of you who are, I don't know, sidestepping the awfulness and the atrocities of that story, we'll give you good notice on that. Anne-Marie Shellard, can't believe the Golden Globes are still going. First up, though, Nadia's broken the internet because her nipples are on Instagram.
Oh, God, I haven't dared look at the bloody article. Mark, I was downstairs. Mark texted me.
It popped up on Apple News. It says Nadia Sawalha's nipples break. They're not break the internet. But by all accounts, I think it's a matter of time before they pull your nipples down.
I didn't.
I was quite shocked when I saw it, though.
No, because he texted me.
You showed your nipples.
Because obviously he's downstairs, I'm upstairs. We're looking through the news stories because if we're together, we end up talking and then we can't get anywhere. So he sent me to go, and he said about the sun, and I was like, oh God, I can't look. I haven't looked anyway. But it's because I flash my nipple through the bra of a reel that I've done.
But you do know what this means.
What?
You are never going to be able to say you can't include that in a vlog. When I pixelate far more than... Hang on. I pixelate far more respectably than you did.
I don't know what's come over me. What?
What?
I mean, when you said to me, the son have done something about your nipples, I said, what does he mean? I didn't really...
Go to her Instagram.
I didn't really notice my nipples.
Well, you wouldn't because they're yours.
Yeah, I suppose I just don't think about them.
I do. It's nice, though, because I still do.
Anyway,
So
I
this
don't
morning,
know what the story said, and I never look when there's stories.
and it's funny because we've been in a WhatsApp exchange with our agents talking about nipples and globes, which has been
And
fantastic. Bollocks, great big golden balls and nips.
Yeah.
So James Flanagan, Happy New Year, James Flanagan. Can you
Nice
both
to see you,
give
James.
each other a pat on the back? Seriously brilliant, funny, and entertaining content created all over the Christmas period.
Oh,
Thanks, James.
oh,
Thank
thanks,
you.
James.
James, I think
James, we have to go to a pint if we ever do get to Ireland.
go to a point.
Go for a pint. Sorry,
Go to a point.
a pint.
I think so. Go to a point and what? Stand there and look at things.
A pint.
I'd love to go to a point with you, James.
Did you see? It's an Irish female lawyer representing South Africa in the genocide.
Oh well,
Yeah,
I mean,
goodness,
hell
yeah.
hath no fury like a female
Loved
Irish
it when
lawyer.
I saw that. Loved it.
But James, on that note, thank you so much for acknowledging that. I think
Thank you.
what we try and I'm going to give us a little bit of a pat on the back here. What we try and inject into all of our content is a sense that no effort goes into it, i.e., it's effortless. I.e., Vlogmas is a sitcom. It's we shoot it for real. It happens for real. There are amplified moments, but when we look at the storyline, so when I get a little bit hysterical with Nads about don't show them that yet, don't show them that yet, because we have a storyline. The storyline evolves based on what happens, but we construct it. Yeah, we're cheating things in terms of order. We're constructing the music. We're constructing the kind of sense of intrigue.
I don't do any of that.
No, I know you don't do
You're
any of it.
brilliant.
No, but what I'm saying is, it's nice for filmmakers, program makers. All of that stuff is going into it. Same with the vlogs.
James will know how much that takes.
I've got to get a charger.
I mean, listen, you've only got to watch. I always say to Mark, he's just so bloody good at his job, but you only have to watch, so many shows on TV where everything is so laboured and you can predict every single thing that's going to happen. And as you know, I don't watch our content. I don't watch the vlogs because I just get too cringe. But this year, because we did quite a few watch-alongs with you of Vlogmas, I actually watched them and I was like, wow, pat on the back for you, babe.
Well, no,
so that's enough patties on the back now.
But James, that's what we do across all of our content. That's what we do with the holiday vlogs. We're always looking at ways to make it entertaining.
What are you doing?
Getting a fucking charger.
What for?
The computer.
Oh, God. Right.
I'm sorry for those of you listening.
Yes. Right. Now, where are we going next, Mark? Morning, Edward Bevington. Morning, Anne-Marie Shellard. Morning, Good Ship Lollipop. Morning, Raspberry Mojito Girl.
Ellery Jones, do you really care that people have seen your nipples? Do you really care?
No, I actually don't, but I don't like... What I do is I just do what I do, and if people have got nasty things
Someone's
to
just
say,
said you need to watch. You're missing a treat.
If people have got nasty things to say, I just don't. I mean, I don't know. It might not be nasty. I don't know. But what I do is I don't listen to the good. I don't listen to the bad, and that way you don't get.
Oh, thanks so much. Thanks so much, Faith. That's very kind of you. Yeah, I think people struggle with the idea that you can construct the reality, and it doesn't mean you're being fake.
Yes, Thursday and Friday.
What was I going to say? What were you saying? What were you saying? What story are we going to do? Oh, should we do? Well, I think we have to do the Golden Globes, really, don't we? But we wanted to do the Golden Globes via someone's pants. Was that right?
Well, we're not really doing the Golden Globe. Oh, are you going to run through the winners and losers?
I'm so confused. We were going to do a showbiz.
Yeah, well, we're doing all the gowns.
Well, we're doing the gowns.
And you were going to do the winners.
But where do we do the winners and losers?
Here, you were going to do.
Well, do we want to do the winners and losers here?
No, fine. If you haven't done them, that's fine. So this was a little story about, is it Brian Keogh?
Barry
Keogh.
Keogh.
And him
How do you pronounce it?
Ironing his pants before he went onto the Golden Globes.
But do you know why that is?
No.
Because, spoiler alert for anyone who hasn't seen Saltburn, that doesn't really spoil the story. There is a particular scene in Saltburn where he dances naked with his todger flapping around to Sophie Ellis-Bextor's Murder on the Dance Floor.
Oh.
Thus, the music which we have removed from this.
So
why
why
does
that mean he's ironing his pants?
Well, because I suppose the joke is that he's actually wearing pants. Because he doesn't.
Pants. Mm-hmm. Ironed pants. But anyway, the reason I want to do this story, as I said to Mark, I bet. There he is.
There he is. Ironing his pants. Look, good old.
But you know what? Like, whenever over the years, we've talked about ironing on Loose Women, it always rates massively. People get really involved about the do's and don'ts of ironing. Why has it got a pocket up at the top?
So you can flop it out and have a wee.
Up the top?
But sometimes they have it at the top, sometimes they have it at the side.
All right, okay, we don't need to know anymore.
What do you mean? We've all seen your nipples.
Right, but I said to Mark, I bet you there's going to be plenty of people here that say they iron their pants. Who irons their pants?
Good question.
Come on. We
I've
need
seen
a
you
poll.
iron
This is a
bras.
very... me? I've never ironed anything I wear.
I've seen someone iron a bra.
Not
Maybe
me.
my nan ironed a bra.
Not me. Irons a bra.
Yeah.
No. Who here...
DK1612, ironed boxers look better under trousers.
These?
Edward
is that what it's called, an
Edward
iron
Bebbington
box?
says they are condom
Creativeholic, me
pockets.
too. Condom pockets?
No, I mean, then you
This
look
is
like
taking a dark twist, this chat.
I love the way he's got his chin. I love the way he's doing this as he does it.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it removes any sexual
He's doing his
contingent to it.
steaming as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's the most unusual thing? Have you ever ironed anything?
Yeah.
What have you ironed?
Shirts.
You haven't.
I have actually. I have.
Oh, it's gone very high. That's your lying voice.
It's not.
It
it's
is.
my
You've gone really high
exasperated
pitched.
voice. Yes, I have ironed. I actually find it when you do. It's boring as fuck, but when you do sort of enter the zone, I found it quite therapeutic doing the collar. But then there's the problem of when you iron an arm of a shirt. Where do you put the line?
No line.
Well, how do you do that?
So what you do is you because I used to iron for a living.
Mm.
You iron like that, and then you turn the sleeve over, and you hold it like that, and then you iron
Not
where
enough
the crease
hours.
would be.
Forget that shit.
So you do that last.
Life is too short, Dolly Harvey. Thank you so much for saying that.
See, look, somebody that irons their tea towels.
What?
I know what you mean, though. When you see people with iron tea towels, like in a cupboard, iron. You know, like in our house, what's the cry every time? Where are the tea towels? There's no place for the tea towel. We say, in one of the drawers, shoved. They're shoved in. And when you see people with piles of iron tea towels, I do get bad jealousy fits. Like really bad jealousy.
Amanda Roach says, my nan told me, iron when you are mad. You will push harder and be satisfied with the end result.
Oh my God, I love that.
I love that, Amanda.
I
Thank
love
you.
that old-fashioned thing of the woman goes into the...
It takes it all out.
Dina, years ago... Oh, God, maybe I better not tell
No,
this
I
story.
wouldn't tell this story.
But
Welcome
anyway,
to the Man
she
family.
would do things similar to that with a particular boyfriend of hers. She would go and just do like crazy things in another room to get the... You know when people say they do that with the dough when they make bread, they put their rage into the bread. But I don't believe in that because I think the food tastes horrible. I think you have to make dough with love.
Welcome to the Man family says, I don't even iron the kids' uniforms unless it's really
Never
bad.
did.
Because the
Unless it's
creases
really
drop out quickly.
Yeah. Well, you see, Lexi, I've got a mountain of ironing to do this afternoon, but there won't be any pants involved. Right. Lexi,
Pants.
why don't you this week not iron?
Yeah, just see what happens. See if the world falls apart.
Then the other thing is Lexi Cal irons and then she puts it away. I suppose if you iron and you're putting it away, but here's the thing. I am one of those people who never just takes the shirt, puts it on and wears that. I'm going to take a shirt. I'm not going to want that. I don't like that. And then before I know it's all over the floor.
But would you maybe want to wear it if it was ironed? If you
That's
pulled
what
the
I'm
shirt
saying.
out and it was ironed,
Yeah.
you'd be like, oh.
Do you know what? I
choose
might
shirts based on which looks least iron.
Exactly.
Why
So you've
don't I
got
iron them?
so many.
Why don't I just
gorgeous
iron the
shirts.
fucking
Why
thing?
don't we start ironing?
Let's iron.
And then maybe we'll start wearing things.
Lee Durrant's mum used to iron her tea towels.
I've bit by bit been organising my cupboard in that I have got those hangers that hang down where you can hang them like that. And I was thinking, imagine if those things were ironed on there. I would wear them.
Sherry D says, never iron anything except back when I was a flight attendant. Something nice about ironing in a hotel room.
Oh, I hate ironing in a hotel because I never liked their hotel.
I think there's something erotic about someone ironing in a hotel room.
Just being in a hotel room. But yeah, so ironing.
Oh my God, Paige Elizabeth, my nan irons hankies. Hang on. That whole sentence.
Oh my God,
that whole sentence has taken me back to the 80s.
I want to be in a world where I've got a nan who's ironing my hankies.
I haven't heard the word hanky since nan.
I remember.
What does hanky-panky? Does hanky-panky mean something to do with
I suppose you take your hanky
I
out.
think it's a bit dirty. Than that.
Hanky
You
it.
use a hanky to clear up the paint.
Mark, if you do that, stop.
I've never
Right,
used a
when
hanky.
I was a kid, I desperately wanted a hanky because other people had hankies. And my mum always used to say, absolutely disgusting. You're keeping all those germs which is true when you
I've
think
never
about it.
understood the hanky
You're
thing.
blowing into, because it was a time when we didn't just throw
God.
everything away. You know, it was a time when we were looking after the planet without realising it.
Yeah, but
We should really use a hanky.
well, there are two flip sides to that. Spitting
You're
and
spreading.
gobbing in public is disgusting, and hoiking things up. And then putting it in a tissue and keeping it isn't particularly pleasant. I mean,
Exactly.
my family have been obsessed with boxes of tissues since the get-go. I mean, I'm amazed I haven't come out of the whole experience totally obsessed with. I mean, my mum with tissue.
I love this.
No,
Mandy Lou, Mark, you have ironed a shirt. I remember you once coming in with a beautifully ironed shirt.
Thanks.
I will have
Thanks,
ironed
Mandy.
it for him.
No, that's not.
There's many a time when I've said to him, get that off, and I've got to iron it.
Yeah, I wonder what you were going to say. I thought you were talking about the other night. Get that off. Sorry. I find ironing so therapeutic, Anne-Marie Lucker. I iron outside in the sunshine in the summer, sometimes topless.
What?
No one overlooks my good God, Anne-Marie.
This is the story of the month. You iron topless.
The mind boggles. Dale Ibbotson, back in my days as a care worker, I used to sometimes visit an old couple. I would do the ironing sometimes, including socks and underpants. Good.
Hang on a minute. Anne-Marie, do your
That's very sweet,
boobs
Dale.
move? I mean, have you got those like really gymnastic boobs that don't move? Because like if I was ironing, mine would be going all over the place.
Would you run the risk of ironing your breasts?
Well, I could definitely iron my nipple, the way they hang.
Yeah?
I could catch it.
Sorry.
By accident.
Sorry. This conversation's taken particularly. We've moved from the eroticism of hotel ironing.
We started in the Golden Globes, and now God knows where we are.
Well,
but anyway, moving on to our next story. Thanks for sharing that, Anne-Marie.
Yes, thank you so much. And we went via hanky panky. Okay, so yeah, we're going to talk about the Golden Globes. We're going to do a showbiz special where we kind of specifically look at the awards winners and the riders and what they've all worn and how exactly Barbie feel about not winning particularly much, or how Taylor Swift feels about not winning anything either. I'm going to show you this clip now. This is to do with the No Trousers tube ride. I saw a photograph last night. Let me show you the photos actually first. Here's some images. These images are less, I find, offensive.
See, if I'd seen that image, because last night Mark showed this to
and you got women as well. So that's women and men on the underground.
I wonder what the ratio of that is there.
Let's have.
The first time we did it, we were doing a strip dive. We need like a swim. Let's get Kate out of the way.
Right. Grab this bait.
This is feeling more like this. Like carnival.
So when Mark showed us this photo last night, and it was a whole load of sort of what I would call aggressive bums.
Aggressive bums. Well,
yeah, they were like bums, and they had like tight pants on, and we were horrified, me and the girls.
Was it because they weren't ironed?
No, we're just horrified. We just thought, oh my God, how disgusting. Now, let's be clear on this. This is for charity or anything.
It's not for charity. I was surprised by that.
So last night when I saw it, I was all guns blazing. Oh my God, this is disgusting. Why do they have to do it? God, we have to put up with so much harassment on the tube anyway. Now we've got to be sat on the tube. So say you're sat here and you're there with somebody's package in your face.
Well, this is it.
Yeah. I don't like it. But then when I read more about it, it apparently the genesis of it, they started in 2009 and it was very much like along the flash mob.
Yes.
So let's have a bit of cheer, a bit of silliness, a bit of John Cleese kind of humour in the morning, which I get, which I get, and I love that sort of humour. I just think nowadays, I think it's just tone deaf. There are so many conversations about how uncomfortable it is for so many women to, I mean, it always has been, but there's more conversations about it now. There's more understanding. There's more, any man that doesn't know yet that many women on a daily basis put up with some kind of harassment, whether it's just staring, whatever it is, well then, they're just not engaged in the world. So how that can still be seen as just something that's funny and silly.
I got my knickers quite literally in a twist last night about this because I was I got really kind of, Dina was in the room, she'd insulted my trainers, I didn't know what was going on. And I was sort of talking to various young people who were in the room as well. And I was like, how can you B, what I don't understand is how you can be any of these a young male, especially, and not have any self-awareness that potentially going on the underground in just your pants could be, if not, I don't sign up to this. I don't sign up to this whole kind of, snowflake thing. But someone in pants on the underground, given the extent to which there is so much harassment on the underground, could be not necessarily you. It's not that you're a threat, but how could you not imagine that you being in? Yeah, no, I'm just re-echoing that you couldn't. And as a father of daughters, I thought it's tone deaf, and also you must be so unplugged into the current fucking zeitgeist of where things are at and what's going on and what life's like for women, because
so that's why. For me, I feel a bit sad about it, because
their intention.
To me, it's the most perfect example of how unbelievable male privilege is.
Yes,
they haven't thought about it because they don't ever have to think about it. It's like Martin never has to think about any of the things that I would think about every time I go out, and it just made me feel a bit like, oh God. Yeah, nothing's moving.
But just
on.
To clarify, as Good Chip Lollipop says, they're having a laugh, and also there's a lot of women there. This isn't to say that
I'd like to know the ratio of women. I bet there isn't
absolutely.
A lot of women. Let me find out.
But no, I mean, the thing that's important to say is, and I think what Nadia's drawn that distinction quite importantly, is weirdly, I remember seeing this story about 10 years ago when it first started, and this shows you how things shift. And I think back then I thought, that's kind of funny, that's kind of quirky, that's kind of silly. I get I think just within 10 years, things have shifted, whether we like it or not. And I think it's got nothing to do with what the majority of these people's intentions are. But when on a daily basis on the underground, you've got stories all the time of men flashing, molesting, looking at porn, assault, and all this kind of stuff. I don't know. There just seems to be, as you say, there's a kind of male privilege here of a certain type of man who just wouldn't even think for a minute that this could be potentially a problem.
Let's face it, there will be some men that worry about sexual harassment when they get on the tube. But most women are aware the whole time, watching around, who's in the cab, where am I going to sit? Am I going to sit opposite him? He looks weird. Or I'm not going to go over there. Oh, there's only one person in this car. I mean, let's not forget, a few weeks ago, a woman got raped on the bloody tube.
Well, Ellery Jones said, I wouldn't know where to look. And I think the very fact that you could leave someone. Yeah, and the photograph that I can't find that we were looking at last night were 3 strong bums. And there were people just sat there. If you're not expecting this, say you've come from another country, say you
well, no, not even if you've got from another country. If I was on the tube yesterday and I found a seat and then it gets packed up and then I've got 3 men or a group of men standing in front of me in their pants, I am going to find that incredibly uncomfortable. And depending on what sort of a man they are, possibly very frightening.
Yeah. Zoe says, I'd have got the ick and got off at the next stop.
Well, exactly. And you're on your way to work. Why should you have to get off the bloody tube?
I think I think it's kind of dangerously close to, some of those groups of men when you're in a pub and it seems to be the normal kind of course of events that they start to get their penises out and dip them in pints of beer and stuff like that. I think, unfortunately, probably the quickest refrain here will be, where's your sense of fun? And I find that the most passive-aggressive. No, I know, but when people say, oh, why the long face?
Bloody feminist. What's wrong with you, you miserable cow? Come on, cheer up.
It's like,
well, I would say back, well, have you ever been groped on the bloody tube? Because I have. I was groped so many times when I was a young girl and when I was in school uniform. Never groped so many times on the bloody tube. I don't want somebody standing in their pants at my face level. But I do think the majority of people will have done it with a sense of fun. I get that. But it's like, be awake.
Yeah, MT, I think you've got half a question there. Do you think as your girls are older and you're a dad, are you asking, am I thinking like this because...
Probably.
Yeah. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah. No, absolutely.
You're more attuned because he hears every day the hassles that they get.
It's constant. And it's constant for all women. And there's filming. And so I can't help but believe that bedded within these very probably, naive, silly, fun guys who are totally unaware of any kind of, harassment that happens to women, because presumably they don't have any women in their lives, or do they? There'll be some in there that aren't actually just doing it just because it's funny. And it's if it was charitable, there may be a different argument. I don't know if it is. I get really annoyed when people go, where's your sense of fun? And when something isn't fun or funny. Unless you're an absolute twit. So there we go. So on that note, take your pants off and show your nipples on Instagram. That's what I say. Okay, so we are entering the last 5 minutes of our lives. So we are going to talk briefly about Israel and Gaza. So if anyone wants to leave. Oh, yeah, look, here's another one. Look at this one. Good chip lollipop. I find the naked cycle utterly gross.
Well, that's what Dina
allowed.
said yesterday. Because when Mark brought this up, she goes, what about all those people that are cycling with their bare butts? She was in somewhere or other, wasn't she, the last time? And she was just like, it's just one butt after another.
Yeah.
I said, but that's not so bad because the butt is passing you by, right? And you know they're going to be very uncomfortable and they're going to pay a terrible price for what they've done. But that wouldn't bother me as much.
What, a naked cycle?
I don't want
I don't want to look at an arsehole in my face.
Up beside you.
Yeah, and you've got red, amber, green, and blinking light over here on a bike.
And for some children, you've got a child in the car.
Yeah, what? That's a good point. What if you're on the tube and you get on with kids?
Well, yeah.
And there's people with pants on. But you're selling.
We see people in swimsuits and everything,
but not on the underground. You don't.
No.
So it is. I don't know. I think it's sad, but I think times have changed. I really do. Anyway.
So if you're heading off now, couple of things. First of all, tonight I'm doing my second body image live at 9:00 on YouTube. So join me for that. There is actually a link underneath last week's one. If you missed last week's one and you want to join tonight, maybe watch last week's because I kind of set up how we're going to be doing it. It's kind of a share back and forth of the mess up. Why do we hate our bodies and how can we work our way through this whole diet culture nightmare? And it's not. This isn't only for people that are overweight. This is really important because it's not about every kind of person can have issues with their body. It's not always about weight. So this isn't a weight thing. This is about shifting that emphasis that so many of us have on hating our body instead of getting on with our lives. So it went really well last week, and I'm looking forward to it tonight.
And did you say? Sorry, I might have missed it. But did you say there's a link under last week's?
Under last week's one, so it's in the playlist. What's our playlist called? The wellness. So it's called "Why Do We Hate Our Bodies?" If you put that in, "Why Do We Hate Our Bodies?" You'll find it.
And there's a link in the description. Now, a lot of people get very confused about where do I find the address for Michelle? Underneath every single film on YouTube, sometimes not quite visible or quite disguised certainly on your phone or what have you. There is a little drop-down menu where it says description and it offers you more. When you click on more, the drop-down window will drop down and you will see all of the content. It has all the links to being able to listen to our podcast. And under Nadia's live last week, there's also a link there where you can input a longer, more anonymous issue, which will come through, and Nadia will be able to respond to that.
Read it out.
Yeah, there's a similar one going to go underneath the live I did about alcohol. So there will also be a live revolving around that this Thursday.
And also yesterday I posted on my Instagram a link for our Agony Aunt and Uncle podcast. So if you've got a problem you'd like us to discuss in an aunt and uncle way, not in a professional way, we will be recording tomorrow that. So if you've got a problem you'd like
None of that is solving or suggesting solutions, but it's sharing experiences, exactly, and similarities.
And there will be a showbiz going up later today.
Absolutely. Pivoting around the Golden Globes, and a review of Priscilla is coming, and
I'm watching it later. Mark's already watched it, and then we're going to do a review of it. Wow, we just are content creators.
Yeah. Thank you, Mandy Doak. Mark, 20 years sober. This is my 20th year. This is my 20th year. Can you believe it?
We're going to do something special this year.
And Nadia's going to be 60 this year. It's a big year.
Also, lots of people asking me if I'm back to loose women. Absolutely. We just took a long break because we had so much filming to do for YouTube, but I'm back Thursday and Friday this week, and next week just Friday.
So let's talk about Israel and Gaza. So this story, the reason I want to mention this story is yes, Keely Wendell, do check out my last a chat about alcoholism and addiction kind of flips quite naturally into a mental health chat. So there was one from last week, Keely, if you missed it, but there will be one each Thursday. So this is the story. Al Jazeera, obviously the Qatari-based Arab world originating news gatherer, which I personally think, simply because it has Al as a prefix in its name, people think is a terrorist organization. This is stick with me on this. I think we have such a simplistic understanding of anything Middle Eastern in this country. It's profoundly worrying, but explains why we cannot see a Palestinian life as being in any way equivalent to an Israeli
Julia Hartley Brewer?
white life. Oh my! Her not even hidden or concealed racism. It was astonishing.
I messaged that chap yesterday. I said, I'm so sorry on behalf of so many. I'm so sorry you were treated so despicably and disgustingly, and she embarrassed herself and us. Rude, so rude. Oh, anyway.
So this is
Don't get me started.
So this is the story that Al Jazeera has directly accused Israel of a targeted strike against two of its journalists.
This poor journalist.
Hamza, I don't know how to pronounce his name correctly, Hamza Wael Dadu and Mustafa Thuria. They both died after 2 rockets were fired at a car they were travelling in. Now, Hamza Wael Dadu has already lost 70 members. We've seen him across time.
We've only got to know him through the Israeli aggression this time. He is a very, very well respected journalist out in Gaza. Did we see a picture of him there? An older man. I think he's probably in his 60s.
I haven't got one, so sorry.
And fairly early on in the aggression, we witnessed him, because he reports morning, noon and night. This guy's professionalism and dedication is just extraordinary. And we actually witnessed him going. He actually found his family, didn't he? Like live. It was like his daughter, his son, his wife. They all died. Do you know what? That night he started reporting again. And yesterday, I think it's his only left son was targeted yesterday, wasn't he, and killed. And yet he was back reporting. The astonishing bravery of these journalists in Gaza. I mean, each day they know it could be their last day. The younger ones just have no hope. They don't think that they will survive it, do they?
No.
They've seen so much horror. They literally sometimes they beg into the camera, please make them stop killing us. Please make them stop killing us. It's literally heartbreaking. There hasn't been another war aggression where this many journalists have been killed. They say
no one is
wearing
anything.
A press vest is a target.
Yes.
It used to be something that would protect you, but now it's a target. And
so the IDF and the Israeli officials are saying that they targeted a terrorist and there happened to be 2 journalists alongside it. This kind of cover for collateral damage is the most astonishingly simplistic, stupid, disrespectful, transparent, manipulative, gaslighting nonsense I've ever heard in my life. The idea that you can just keep justifying the killing of journalists, the killing of children, and the killing of innocents with the specious argument that they are all somehow terrorists, they're all sitting close to terror. In such let me put it this way, in such a tiny strip of land, it's a pretty safe bet that there is always going to be an innocent civilian near to someone that the Israeli Defense Forces and intelligence services could somehow connect with a Hamas terrorist or some kind of operation or something. That cannot be a justifiable argument for the continued elimination of innocent people.
More and more across the world are finally saying the same thing.
It is astonishing that the West, if I see Blinken, what a blinking idiot. That's what I call him now. He's a blinking idiot. He stands there saying it's about time for things to soften, or for them that we need to take caution, or we need to sort of show restraint. Are you having a serious laugh? You have no capacity nor compulsion to enact any of these demands on Israel whatsoever. It is the most unforgivable catastrophe that has spun so far from the concept of self-defense. You can't even begin to get your head around it.
There's a piece, this piece as well from CNN. I think it was a few days ago, that more than 10 children on average have lost one or both of their legs. This is just legs. We're not talking about arms. Since October the 7th. with many amputations performed without anaesthesia. And like I said last week, and I am going to keep repeating this, imagine that you hear that there's a child in a local hospital, your hospital down the road, oh, they had to have their leg amputated without anaesthesia. And then we have to question why we would be outraged with that, but not outraged with the Palestinian child. And then we have to question where that comes from, because there is a difference. There is a real difference in the way that people are thinking about these children. There really is.
Okay.
Every single day, it breaks my heart and it enrages me. And I cannot wait for January the 11th to 12th. I just can't wait.
Mandy Dewick. Okay, rather than asking this question, Mandy Dewick, where is it? It's gone. Please tell me what we do when Hamas doesn't want a ceasefire. It's horrific. Okay. The IRA, at a point in history, didn't want a ceasefire. The last thing we would have done as a government was go into Belfast in Ireland, which I'm just drawing some kind of, very crude sort of equivalence between. It's a good
one.
When there were IRA operatives in Belfast, which there were many of, we would never have adopted the policy of bombing Belfast to dust with the argument that the IRA doesn't want a ceasefire. It just doesn't.
When we were growing up,
just pause 1 second. I'm really tired of questions coming back and no questions being answered. So that's my question back. Why is the only answer to bomb and kill innocent civilians? And
to knock down, just to raze it to the ground so nobody can come back. We have to think about why destroy everything so nobody can come back.
We have precedent with other terrorist organizations where two things, the Good Friday Agreement, which of course is a fragile piece, where negotiation did happen, where negotiation has to happen, where discussion, talk, and diplomacy has to happen, regardless, just saying Hamas and then saying no dialogue. Well, no one's going to get anywhere. No one's going to get anywhere.
And also, what dialogue? We don't know what the dialogue is. We don't know who is saying no and who is. We don't know. We don't really know what those negotiations are about.
And another aspect forget Hamas, put that to the side. Another aspect of what might reduce the desire for some Palestinians to express their frustration through Hamas would be to end the occupation, to end the illegal settlements, and to stop the control of what essentially amounts to an enormous concentration camp that has no control over anything that enters it. So let's ask that question. So maybe try resolving that, and we might work out whether Hamas then wants to say. I think what has to happen here is probing questions need to be asked absolutely of Hamas and the Palestinians too, at the point that we find an equivalence and a peace and a fairness to the setup. If at that point there is still a push towards violence, then absolutely it should be called out. But this idea that we're somehow on an even playing field is an absolute joke.
Nobody can really say that now, can they? Can they say it's even now?
It's an absolute joke. So it's going to be interesting to see how Israel defends itself at the International Court of Justice.
With more and more of these videos of people using the most unbelievable language when describing the Palestinians. I've seen one today with this woman absolutely rabid, calling them less than animals, calling them monsters. And there's so much of that. It's just petrifying. Imagine it the other way around. Just imagine it.
Exactly. Okay, well, there we go. So as Nadia says, her live will be tonight at, what time is it? 9 o'clock. Okay, and lots of other content landing. Worst films of the year, Showbiz, Golden Globes Showbiz film is going to be landing soon. And just constant content everywhere. So have a lovely day, guys, and we are going to now wave to you.